you all had an amazing holiday week. It was definitely a hot one up here. You can hear the AC going on in the background. We had over 100-degree temperatures up here in Canada and crazy humidity. So definitely also the 1st of July was also the first day that the Canadian tariffs were enacted on the U.S. imports for aluminum, steel, and other items. So definitely on watch for overall for the market, I would say, is the aluminum and steel sector. And I'll give you guys a quick analysis of the SPY. I got a bat scientist who always loves to hear about this, so we'll look at it for the week. So you can see these purple levels have basically been daily and weekly levels. This line right here is, you know, a weekly resistance level, which, look at that, it hit it right here, the resistance level of 275.88, as well as this line. So it had dropped below, pulled back down here to 269, bounced up, tested this level here again, but pulled back right here, and then continued on up. This is our 9 EMA, exponential moving average, on the daily. So it looks like it is in a curling up motion. It looks like 275 or 274.60 is going to be the 20-day moving average. So I'd say once we converge up over this, like the convergence down here, it will go ahead and have a general upward trend. It broke down here, so we had a downward trend. So right now, I would say use 273.15 as support, and then once we break this 275.88 level, look for 278.87, and then further on up to 280.41. So those are going to be the prior levels to keep on watch. Getting into the watch list for the week. Oh, I forgot to mention the awesome t-shirt from my buddy Dan. He has quality, amazing, amazing products for men and women. This is actually the first time. He was like, here, Jane, just try this, see if you like it. And it's awesome. I absolutely love it. So definitely check that out. You know, my husband absolutely loves the clothes, and they're super stylish, so check them out. So getting into the watch list for the week, we have, as always, I'm not a licensed professional. I did have my Series 7. However, I know I'm no longer active, so please trade at your own risk, do your own due diligence, and we'll get right into the first long of the week. So first on my long list is ARQL. We'll get into the 15-minute chart here. So you can see we're right at a 52-week high. I do really like tracking the 52-week breakouts because, as you can see, it broke out here before. There's no resistance above. So then basically, many times I'll see that it'll be Fibonacci levels that will act as resistance for pullbacks and then further surges. So I would keep that on watch with support of 659 and resistance of 692. So like I said, on the year, it's breaking out, on the 5-year as well, and overall, it looks like our next resistance level is going to be about 814 on the overall chart. Actually, maybe around here, 765. So keep it on watch for sure. It does have 55 million in the float and 35.9% short float volume on Friday. Next on the list, FNJN. Bring it back to our 15-minute chart, FinJan. Again, close to that 52-week breakout level. It did break out earlier from down here, 369, for a high of 385. So I would you could put the support down at that 369 level. I might be a little bit tighter even and do 375. 379 is where it did close after hours. So just keep it on watch for sure. This one has 16.4 million in the float and 37.08 short float volume on Friday. Next, we have Sfix. So Sfix IPO this year. You can see that it broke out on Friday, broke out fairly strong as well. And it's hitting new highs overall for the IPO. I would put 3140 as support and 3247 for resistance. I'll do a 6-month chart. Oh, let's see, maybe yearly here. So it IPO'd on November 17th of last year, and you can see once it broke this level right here of, let's see, 3017, had a nice strong breakout. Now this one does have 9.1 million in the float and 54.4% short float volume. So just like we saw this here, we had this massive run up day here, and then it pulled back some, and a massive run up here and pulled back a little bit. I think that it might have bit more run up right at open. It'll probably gap up and then potentially pull back for another entry. Just like here, it ran up, broke out, tested that level, broke out a bit, pulled back, and then surged even further. So that's what I would expect for Sfix. You can see here I was watching it as well for a breakout above 25.37, and now it's up $7 from that breakout. We also have Cvna, another one hitting new, well, close to the 52-week high, but on Friday, it was on Friday I had it on watch. Just one of my alerts from Trade Ideas, which is, you can find the information down below. And Trade Ideas, it's great. One of the scans that I have is low floats hitting new 52-week highs, because when those low floats have shorts in them, all of a sudden that demand increases. There's low supply, so what happens? It breaks out. And that's exactly what happened on Friday. You see it broke the level from Thursday of 45.50 and ran up to 47.36. So definitely keep this one on watch. On my 15-minute chart, I have 46.77 as support and 47.36 as resistance. It does have 28 million in the float and 59% short float volume on Friday. Next on the list, we have Cara Pharmaceuticals, or Therapeutics, excuse me. So this one I have 19.8 as support and 20.05 as resistance. Next one would be 20.30 and then 20.65. You do see the 52-week high is 22.31. So we'll look back on a yearly chart. It has been, let's see, we'll get rid of the fibs here. So it had a massive gap up, pulled back, and has been slowly going up, pulled back a little bit, and now is going up again. So I would really look for this level of 20.30. Once that resistance level is broken, I think that could be the continuation to the upside. If it is fairly strong, I think it will continue down. So keep it on watch. As always, guys, like, I do put stocks on the long side just because I think it's more likely to be a long. However, if that support is broken, you could very well short it. Because at that point the momentum could be going downwards. But at this point in time, the momentum to me is looking to the upward side, and it's better to trade with the trend. So we'll get into the shorts as well. COLL, bring it to a 15-minute chart, was hitting new lows for recently with this high. So I would put it at a support of 21, resistance of 21.58. Pull it back on the yearly chart. You can see it is hitting a fairly strong support level. It's been bouncing off of this for a couple months now, ever since it broke it back in January. So if it does break here, I would think that we could easily go down to the 18 level and then potentially further down to the 16 level from there. It does have 21 million in the float. A lot of my shorts, I did have a harder time finding shorts this weekend because many stocks, the market is fairly strong, and after this week, which had lower volume than normal because of the holidays, I think next week we will see more volatility, more short selling, because a lot of people took this whole week off. So this one, PriceSmart Psmt on the 15-minute chart, I would put support of 82.90 and resistance of 84.50. If you look at it on the year chart, you can see that this is as well prior support / resistance level. So when it breaks, it does hold it for a bit, and then it comes back to it as a resistance level, and then breaks above it, and then tests it, and then goes back up. So we could be on that downward trend where we're going to see it drop down to the 79 level, further on down to 78. So keep it on watch. The momentum right now is in the downward movement, so look for it to break 82.90. And PriceSmart does have 26 million in the float. MVC Capital, so I would look for this to break 925. It's definitely had downward trajectory since 2018 started. And if we look at it on a 5-year chart, it does look like it could go down to 875, and then if that breaks, further on down. This one does have 15 million in the float, and it's, like I said, it's really just been in a downward trend, especially all last week. So keep it on watch. 925 for support and 932 for resistance. Next we have Cblk, Carbon Black. I would put 2306 as support and 2353 as resistance. And I flipped the colors around on this one. And on the yearly chart, you can see this is pretty much the low of the year. So watch for this to break down here. If there's nothing below, you know, this one did IPO back in May. If it breaks below the low of 22.58, there's really nothing stopping it. That's why I do like to see the 52-week low breakouts and 52-week high breakouts, because you can see if it's an all-time high breakout or an all-time low breakout, there's nothing really stopping it. And then momentum's going to take on speed, and people are either going to sell it off or they're going to buy it and run it up. And the shorts, especially on the long side, on the 52-week breakout or all-time breakout, many times the longs start piling in at that high, and then they start to get squeezed. So you will see continuations of those highs continuing to grow. Last one on the list is PED. Now this one, you can see, this one did have, you can see I had it here noted that the 61% pullback of 191, but it completely broke that from the bottom down there. So I would say this one has a lot of movement down to the downside of 31 cents. We're at 182 now. So we've got $1.50 to the downside. It did not hold that 61%. Many times you'll see that it will hold that on a daily chart. I would put support at 179 and resistance at 186. So if it does break it, this one does have 3.4 million in the float. It might be hard for people to find shares to short. However, it would be a good penny stock to short, like Timothy Sykes says. However, it's right at that level where it could have massive buying. Sometimes we will see people jump in at this percentage point on the Fibonacci's and run it up. I believe Jason Bond is a big one that does that. He will buy at the 61% level of the pullback and run it up from there. So keep that on watch. That is the watch list for the week. I'm also going to do a big video explanation of how to use my daily watch list just like this, so I can break it down for people to make it a little easier for newbies to understand. And I want to do some more videos where I really help you guys with brand new terminology. So if there's anybody out there watching for the first time and you are clueless on a term, please shoot it over in the comments below or in email to carpeprofit@gmail.com. And if you like my content, please like and subscribe and shoot over ideas. I'm willing to do pretty much anything as far as explanations to help you guys in furthering your trading career, because everybody has to start somewhere. And if you have a question, happy to answer if I have the answer for you. All right, guys, have a great week ahead. Carpe Profit.